Hi everyone, my name is Basak. Today I'm going to talk about Fas culture from Ottoman Empire, and it's also known as a Turkish culture. But firstly, I'd like to talk about cultural appropriation. So, cultural appropriation means if one person uses the culture of another for his own personal interest and doesn't respect the real meaning of the culture, that's a cultural appropriation. Cultural appropriation is a situation that confuses many people, and the most obvious one is the cultural appreciation. Because cultural appreciation is when people from different cultures come together and interact culturally. This means that both sides respect their culture, and if the person is the other person's reflecting culture in a real meaning way, that's a cultural appreciation. In addition, we can give examples of cultural appropriation. Those are dance, clothing, fashion, language, music, food, religious symbols, and many of them. And those are there. Some groups are targeted for cultural appropriation. And those groups are African Americans, Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans, and Native Americans. As we all know, Turkish people has very deep and ancient history. It comes from the Ottoman Empire in 1299. The Ottoman Empire between 14th and 20th centuries controlled much of southern Eastern Europe, Western Asia, and Northern Africa. Therefore, it caused many mixed cultures, and it has come from that time until today. As with many groups, there are some cultural appropriation made in the Turkish culture. The history of Fez goes back to 1800 years. Firstly, Fez consists of a red, white, or black hood with edges wrapped in the turban. In the following years, the turban was removed, the color was fixed to red, and the hood was shortened. This hat is originally known as symbol of Shriners International, taking its name from the city in Fez, Morocco. Fez hat represents the Arabian theme in the fraternity was founded. This hat is known as the culture of Moroccans and Turkish. The Fez hat became the symbol of Ottoman Empire in 19th century. It was an accessory worn by Ottoman elders and soldiers. Since the army had to be fast and light, Hüsrev Pasha, the Ottoman fleet commander, dressed the soldiers with fez, who were first in Tunisia. The Ottoman Sultan II Mahmud, who saw this clothes on the sailors in the ceremony, enacted a law in 1828 that made it compulsory to wear a fez. In 1840, the red fez hat with black tassel became the symbol of the Turkish army. In this law, it has become the compulsory for officers and soldiers to wear fez. Fez hat, because of its connection with Islam, was quickly accepted by the Ottoman Empire society. This is why the fez hat is known as cultural symbol belonging to Turkish. Also, one of these reasons why the fez became the Ottoman culture was that it was easier for Muslim men to put their hats on the heads while prostrating praying. It's also modern alternative. In addition, the fez has become the part of the Eastern culture over time during the time of the Ottoman Empire. This hat, which is seen exotic and romantic in the West, it's also known as a luxury men's accessories in the beginning of the 20th century in USA and UK. Mustafa Kemal Atatürk established the Republic of Turkey in 1923. Fez hats known as a religion symbol of the country. To make it more modern country, Atatürk outlawed in Turkey to wearing fez in 1925. Even though some cultures still think Turkish people are wearing fez nowadays, but this is not true. In Turkey, we do have other religions besides Muslim. Since fez represents religious thought, we prefer not to use the hat, but respect the old culture. The fez belongs to ancient history. This cultural symbol, despite the prohibition found in Turkey, they represent our culture on the respect is needed. However, due to cultural appropriation, many films and organizations disrespectfully introduce the fez culture. For example, organ grinders used to create music using a mechanical device to attract the attention of punters. They would carry a monkey with them and they would dress this ape with the fez to attract attention. This is a situation that is applied purely for entertainment purposes, but the meaning and culture of fez hat is more than that. So one more example of the fez monkeys, some postcards use them, but this is the postcard with fez monkeys found in France, drinking alcohol and smoking. Drinking in Islam is also a sin, and since fez is known as a religion symbol, it has become an appropriation of a culture. As another example, Tommy Cooper, the famous comedian, uses a fez on his performances, which he portrays as a prop and just does a comedy. This is another disrespect to fast culture. As well as Doctor Who, in fifth season, he wears a fez just to look cool, and even he says this on the part of the scene. Those entertainments might look innocent, but none of them reflect the noble meaning of the fez hat. So it's time for the talk about cultural appreciation to fast culture. Fast culture used to increase tourism in Turkey and to represent the old culture the tourists. Fast had introduced the tourists by ice cream sellers in Turkey. They usually wear the old cultural clothing as well as worn a fez. The remarkable old dresses are the revitalization of the country's culture. This ancient history too old relies the Ottoman Empire, which is part of the multitude of the state that a part of the culture is still sold as a souvenir in Turkey. Or in some restaurants, employees wear a fez because of the introduced more authentic culture to the tourists. Thank you for listening me today. I hope I introduced you to fast culture and as well as cultural appropriation and cultural appreciation.